So for those of you that don't know much about Value Village, which I would think here in Canada, most of you do. So we are a purpose-driven thrift retailer, and what that really means is our company was founded on a single purpose, and that was to improve lives through the power of reuse. 60 years ago, we established our purpose as improving lives through the power of reuse. So our founder of our company used to be an officer in the Salvation Army. And he left the Salvation Army for a simple reason. He thought he could do better for his family and for his community by opening his own thrift store. And the model that he started remains exactly the same today, which is we partner with local nonprofit organizations in every market where we have stores. And the local nonprofit organizations solicit and collect used clothing and household goods, and they deliver that to our stores, and we weigh it and we pay them by the pound for every single thing that they deliver, whether we sell it or not. And then we go through the process of trying to figure out how much of that we can sell. And I'll give you some insights on what that looks like. And so for the last 60 years, that's been our model. And candidly, in the space of reuse, and in particular with textiles, we've been doing a lot of work on figuring out how to take more and more of that out of the waste stream. And, for us, it seems as if over the last year to 2 years, the impact of textile waste is becoming more and more popular in something that more municipalities are talking about, and even brands are talking about. I was lucky enough yesterday and the day before, I was in Toronto at the World Ethical Apparel Roundtable, and there were brands there like Lululemon and H&M and The Gap, and also Eileen Fisher. And what's happened over the last few years, and I think some of it is because of the work that the Ellen MacArthur Foundation has done, in particular in looking at apparel, is that what emerged through some of the studies was that one of the most impactful ways to reduce the impact of textile waste on the planet is reuse. And so most people don't really think about what happens to their stuff when they get rid of it. But in the world of textiles, in the world of mitigating textile waste, the fact is that the great majority of infrastructure that's developed today is around reuse. It's not around recycling. In fact, most of the infrastructure around recycling of textiles is very, very underdeveloped. So right now, reuse is one of the most critical ways to reduce that impact. So I wanted to share a couple things with you because over the last 14 years while I've been with Savers, I've sort of felt like I've been talking to myself about the impact of reuse. And so finally, it's starting to get some traction. So one of the things we know is that over the last few decades, the world has been on a shopping spree. And in North America alone, we're now consuming over 80 million pieces of new textiles every single year. And along with consuming 80 million pieces, we've also gotten into another very big habit, which is throwing a lot of that away. In fact, the great majority of what people get rid of in terms of their textiles is still making its way into the waste stream versus a stream through donation or reuse or repair. And we see that a lot in terms of how our business has changed over the years. And so one of the things that we wanted to do was to begin to talk more about it. Get out of just talking to ourselves, but begin to share some of what we know with the public to help change perception. So in North America right now, North Americans throw away over 10.5 million tons of clothing every single year, of which 95% of it can be reused or recycled. So for us, we decided to take a leap forward and begin to invest some money in education campaigns. And the first thing that we did is we created our very first State of Reuse report. And that report dived into perceptions around why people do or don't participate in reuse as part of their shopping habits, and also why people do or don't donate as one of the mechanisms to be able to free themselves of the things that they no longer want. And one of the most interesting things was that in Canada, the majority of those that responded to our study said that they actually use donation as a method of getting rid of the stuff that they no longer want. It was roughly 60%. But what was really interesting about it was that the same respondents also said that they still actually throw away 3 bags of used clothing and textiles every single year, which is a lot. I live in Seattle, Washington, so I live in the U.S., Those that responded to our study in the U.S. Are throwing away 5 trash bags worth of clothing every single year. And some of the misconceptions around it are that, one, some people actually don't know that they can actually donate their used clothing and get it into a stream that would support reuse versus it going into the landfill. And so there's still a significant amount of education that needs to be done around the different options for textiles. So we went a step further. We felt that our position as a leader in reuse, especially around textiles, we needed to actually get out and really start to do some things that would get the attention of consumers and the public. And so we've done a few of these installations across several cities throughout North America. This particular installation, we launched this installation on Earth Day, and this is Alki Beach in Seattle. And what we wanted to highlight was that the apparel industry today is the second leading polluter on the planet, right behind big oil. And so we launched these installations with factoids on our barrels and to help people understand the impact of their clothing footprint. And then we kept expanding it. The installation that you see here was something that was part of what we call our I Give a Shirt campaign. This was here in Vancouver at the aquarium. And so this particular installation was done on National Thrift Store Day. And so we've used all of these installations as opportunities for us to share information around the impact of textile waste on the planet, and also share what people can do in their daily life individually to actually make an impact. One of the things that you'll hear a lot when people talk about this is the demand on our natural resources around the production of textiles. So one cotton t-shirt, as an example, takes 700 gallons of water to produce between growing the crop and the production of the t-shirt. 1,500 gallons of water to produce a pair of jeans. And so when we think about that, if you imagine, if you incorporated reuse as part of your shopping behavior, if you incorporated reuse through donation as part of how you get rid of your merchandise, and we combine that with maybe a little bit less consumption, more options in terms of, or more improvement in terms of how textiles are manufactured to make them more sustainable in the end, so they're more recyclable, potentially making them more durable so they last longer and can last longer in even the reuse process. All those things together will help make a significant impact. And so all of this was part of our effort to begin to help people rethink reuse. Thank you.